Hi guys, I know this is a bit of a different video. I'm trying to talk quietly because my family are asleep. Um, I cannot sleep, which is a very frequent occurrence for me. So, yeah, I was just thinking about some stuff and I thought I might just make like a little video. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna upload this or not. So, um, a reason I wanted to do this video is because today I am a whole month self-harm free, which is amazing. I don't even remember the last time I went this long without cutting, which is like, yeah, I really don't even, honestly, over like the past 2 years especially, I don't think there's been more than like 2 weeks even where I haven't like done something. Um, like yeah, and self-harm for me has been like insane. And if you don't know, like I started doing it when I was about I just turned 14. Like self-harm in other ways when I was younger, but I didn't actually know that's what I was doing. And I kind of only recently figured out that my self-harm is extremely linked in with my bipolar disorder, with my moods and episodes, because I realized that now with a clear head, that the only time I could ever stop self-harming for even like a small amount of time would be when I was manic, or if I happened to have some sort of normal period, which didn't happen much. And so I was just like pretty much constantly self-harming. And like the beginning of last year, I think it was, it got really out of control. And like it's always been kind of out of control. I never really had control over impulses or urges, but like just it just got really bad. The last like year has I've had a lot of bad years, and it's been one of the worst. I was like extremely ill, and yeah, just with like bipolar disorder, and it just is so crazy and chaotic all the time, and you feel like you just have absolutely no control over anything. And it was just because also I was only just starting treatment and trying to figure out like what was the best treatment for me and stuff, and get like professional help because of all of that as well. Like I didn't really have that much support, and it just, yeah, like the end of last year, like Christmas time, I just like went downhill so fast, and it was one of the worst like depressive episodes I think I've ever even had in my life. I've had a lot. I spend most of my time in depression than like mania, experiencing mania, which is quite common for most people I think with bipolar disorder. And so I was like severely depressed, and it was kind of to the point where I literally was just like unresponsive. Like I didn't care about anything at all. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care what the flip happened to me. I pretty much just walked around wanting to die constantly, and my self-harm was just starting to get really bad. I'm trying not to be triggering, but yeah, I was just getting so bad. And honestly, it was just like, even going into the beginning of this year, like this is literally even like not that long ago, it was so bad. And like physically, I don't know, like with by the time I got to this point, I was so heavily deep into self-harm. I was so addicted. I would just look, like I would just trigger myself by stuff. Like I would look at pictures of self-harm on like the internet and like online, and I would just be constantly looking at it. Like, I just was consumed by cutting, and I thought about it constantly, and I couldn't do anything like productive, and I was just sleeping all the time, and obviously like my parents were like really concerned, and even like my friends are kind of like, yeah, like you really don't seem like yourself. And so yeah, and I was just not doing anything basically. I had a job at this point. I don't know how I don't know how I was managing to even go to this, but there were like so many times that, because the point my self-harming got to, there were like literally just so many times where I would literally just be sitting on like the bathroom floor or my bedroom floor, which is like wooden floors, and I would just be self-harming and just didn't give a rip, and literally just like laying in a pool of blood because I didn't care, and my self-harm was getting really physically bad. And like literally I should have gotten I only ever got medical attention once, and I should have gotten medical attention because like I couldn't stop. There would be just so many times like I was actually thought I was gonna like faint and pass out because I was like, because the pain was so bad. I literally was like about to pass out because I was obviously losing a lot of blood, and I was just in like a lot of pain. But it was like I wasn't even doing it. It was like, this isn't real, this isn't happening. Like obviously like I was in a lot of physical pain, so like that kind of made me be like, oh hang on, this is. But like I can't explain it. Like it just felt like I was, by this point it was like I was just like watching myself do it. Like it wasn't even, I had no emotion. Like whenever I would like self-harm, it would just be like my head would, this is why I would do it a lot too, because my head would just be so like, it would be so crazy, and then it would just, when I self-harmed, it would just be completely blank. There'd be nothing there. Like I mean nothing. Like people would always ask me like, oh, so what are you thinking about, like while you're doing it or whatever, like professionals, and I was like, honestly at this point it was just like there was nothing there, and I didn't want to stop. I was so like deep into it, and like I just felt so bad. I was like, what's the point? And I would plan to do all this stupid stuff all the time, and it would get interrupted. Thankfully it would get interrupted by other people, so nothing ever really happened. It was just like, oh, if I honestly, it was just like insane. And I don't know, like I just felt like I had a lot of professionals in the past say to me that my cuts were superficial, and this just really got to me, and it really triggered me, and I felt like I wasn't ill enough, and that I wasn't sick enough, and that I needed to self-harm really badly to prove to people that I was like ill, and my pain was valid. And I also felt like I needed to do it to physically see that there is something wrong, because constantly like I would always, especially when I was manic, I would always be like, there's nothing wrong with me. Before I even knew that I had bipolar, I'd always be like, no, I was just making everything, like I'm just making everything up, I'm making up depression, like how could I be depressed, this is because I was manic. And so I would be so confused all the time about like what was actually like going on, and nothing made sense to me, and I was just constantly confused. And deep down I knew something was off, and I knew it was wrong, and I knew that self-harming and all this stuff wasn't normal, but like I just didn't have any type of answer or anything to go off. And I thought, especially when I was younger, I thought, oh, maybe everyone just does this, maybe everyone just experiences this, which is not true. I now know that, but yeah, I just thought like maybe it was normal, maybe this is normal for a 12-year-old to be this badly depressed, or a 13-year-old to be thinking about self-harming. Like I thought that was normal behavior. And at the time, and even up until like recently, like while I was like just in this mode of self-harm and just misery, I would just like, it was like every bit of skin that I saw that didn't have like a cut or a scar on it, it was like I had to destroy that as well, and I don't know why, and it probably sounds super messed up to somebody who doesn't self-harm, but it was like I just had to destroy like every bit, and I had to cover as much area as possible. I don't know, like I think just because it's addictive, like the more you do it, and I would be self-harming 3-4 times a day, and I'm not just talking about doing like a one cut when I would do it, I'm talking about like heaps, and this would be happening like multiple times a day, and I would do it, and then I would literally just be like, it's fine. Like literally, like I should have gotten so many cuts like glued up or stapled or whatever, and I didn't because I was really embarrassed and ashamed, and I didn't want to have to constantly go to my doctors, and sometimes this would happen at night, so I couldn't anyway, but I didn't want to be going to my doctors all the time. I can get the nurses to be like literally like fixing my legs constantly, and so I was like no, and I was really embarrassed about it. Like it's pretty awkward to have to go into your doctor's clinic and tell the receptionist, by the way they knew me though, but they already knew, but yeah, to have to go in there and be like, I self-harmed really bad, can you please fix this? Like honestly, I would have been in there like just the amount of times I was doing it, I would have been in there constantly. And so, and the other thing was too, like my illness and everything and addiction was just like no, like don't get medical attention, like because it was almost like the worse the scars, it was like, oh, it proves the worst the worst you are. I don't even know how to explain it, but I don't know, it was like some weird like marker thing of like, oh, so you're mentally this bad because your scars are this bad. I don't know. And like I would look at, because I would be looking at triggering stuff, I'd look at pictures of people with really bad self-harm scars, and I'd be like, I need to, like it got competitive, I'd be like, I need to do it that bad, I need to do it like that, my self-harm isn't deep enough, it's not wide enough, it's not blah 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 long enough. It's stupid, it's so stupid, but like literally like that's what I thought. And so every time I self-harmed, it was like every cut I was like, I need to make this worse. And because I've struggled with this for so long, it was just so normal. Like it was it's normal for me to look at my leg and have scars or cuts constantly on it. But it wasn't until like the end of last year that it just got physically really bad, and like I really wish I had gotten medical attention for it, because like now I just have really bad scars, and my whole 2 legs are literally just completely like effed up pretty much. And it's so annoying, and I've literally just had to spend like months and months and months in long pants. Like I can't wear anything above the knee, and I just in the moment, like you don't think about later on, you don't think about like what you're gonna be left to deal with, and you don't, because in the moment you don't care, you want scars, you want cuts, you want blah 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 blah, and yeah, I suppose I'm making this just to get my thoughts out, but also because I am a month clean of self-harm, which I'll explain it why. Because it's just like crazy, like I even look back to like not even long ago, like a few weeks ago, and I was still very on the fence, like do I want to get better, I was like, I went off my lithium, and there was all this, the thing was like I'd been really severely depressed and like suicidal and everything, and my treatment team literally would just like didn't even know what to do with me, like just sit there we would just sit there and like I would just like say whatever, and I was just sorry, like I didn't care, I just say whatever, and they would just kind of like, they didn't know what to say. Like, what do you say when someone's literally just saying they hate everything and they just want to die and whatever, you know, like they don't know what to say. And I didn't really want to hear it. I was getting really frustrated and upset and angry when people would try to tell me like, you need to just like do this, you know, like go and do this instead of self-harming and blah blah blah. But they just didn't get like in the way I was in, it was just impossible. Like there was no way I could not, there was just no way I could stop. And then I went off after this depressive episode. I had a lot of really stressful things happening, quite like stressful traumatic things going on, and so I think that kind of like triggered, I wasn't sleeping either because I was so stressed, and it started to trigger mania. And so I was like, because I was really unwell still, and I was like, I don't need my medication, I'm just gonna go off it, like I want to be manic. I think I even said in one of my videos, I was like, I just really want to be manic. So I went off my medication, and antidepressant just went cold turkey, and of course I went manic, and it was just like, ugh, it was really bad. And I just did all this stuff, and then like I spent heaps of money that I'd worked really hard to save. I honestly, every time, I keep going on about this to everybody, about how I'm so upset about not having the money, but honestly, like, I worked so freaking hard, and I was saving it, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna save it, and I literally just spent so much stuff, and I tried to return some things later, but there wasn't really much I could return and much I could do about it. And yeah, so a bunch of things happened, and my mom, at this point, I was like, I'm not going back on medication. Like, I was starting to like think that I was like causing events to happen. I think I said this in a video, I really don't know, but anyway, like I was starting to think that I was causing events to happen, like that I was thinking them and they were happening, and like it was all my fault, and I was getting really paranoid and weird. And it didn't matter like who told me otherwise. I was like, no, I'm causing it, like this is my fault, like I'm making events, I thought these thoughts, now they're happening. Like I was like getting real funny about it. And my mom was trying to convince me to go back on my medication, and my personally, like who I see, like mental health worker and my psychiatrist, were both like saying like, oh, like you could try something else, like you don't have to go back on lithium if you don't want to, like, but I was literally not having it. I was like, no. And they kept trying to get me to make a decision, and I couldn't. When I'm manic, the decisions, that's not even a thing, okay? It's impossible to make a decision. Oh my gosh, it doesn't work, clearly, because I spent all my money. So yeah, and they were like trying to get me to make a decision. I couldn't make a decision, and I kept saying to my mom, can you just decide for me, I don't know, like tell me like what to do. And she was like, I can't decide it, you know, like you have to decide. And anyway, like eventually my mom convinced me to go back on my medication, and she was like, you know, like you really should go back on it, like it was helping you before and everything. And so I agreed to go back on it. I was still not really happy about it. I was very like, I don't really know about this. Went back on it, and they increased my dose because it had been really low as well. That was the other thing, my lithium levels were really low when I was really depressed, and so we thought that was causing problems. Anyway, there's all these issues. And so yeah, I eventually kind of came off the manic episode, which was like about 3 weeks ish, and then they increased my medication, and so now, and so yeah, and then I started feeling like a lot more stable. Like I said, it started to kind of like kick in, like after a while. Like it took a while, but like it started to eventually kind of kick in, and then I started to feel like a lot more like calm, and like I wasn't like having those really negative thoughts, those constant self-harm. The self-harm urges went down a lot, and I haven't really, I still think about it all the time. Like I still think about self-harming, and I still haven't thrown away stuff, because I just can't do it. Like I've thrown away stuff before and it just hasn't worked. Like I've always just gotten more. And I know like you should just throw it away so then in the moment you can't do it, but whatever. But yeah, so I haven't thrown away stuff. Like I know where it is, but I'm just like, I don't know. I'm kind of just like taking it as like each day as it comes, because like if I try to think about like going ages without it, it stresses me. Like honestly, I get really stressed. So yeah, like I've been able, the way I figured out like the way I've been able to not self-harm is because I'm actually having like a normal range of emotions right now, because my medication is working really well. And I feel like because I'm not manic, I'm not really depressed, and so I'm not having those really chaotic thoughts that you get when you're manic and very like almost like very delusional kind of thing. And I'm not having really severe thoughts of like just thinking about like suicide all the time. And I still think about self-harm, but the difference is that I can think about it without acting on the urge, whereas before it was like impossible. It's like the urge, it was like, I don't know, like everyone was always trying to get me to like the whole delay thing, like delay, like go sit somewhere for 5 minutes, and then if you still feel like self-harming and you can't wait any longer, then go do it. But like it's kind of like building up like a delay response, because especially with me with bipolar and stuff, like I'm just extremely impulsive, and it's like I feel something and I act on it. Like there's no thinking about it, there's no logical thinking to it. It's literally just like I feel it, I act it, I do it. I feel like self-harming, I self-harm. I feel like binge eating, I binge eat. I feel like drinking alcohol, if I'm like manic, whatever, I do that. You know, like there's no logic to it. Like it's just hard. And so now, because I'm just feeling like a lot more stable, I've actually been able to think rationally and logically for once about things. And if I do still think about self-harm, but I don't feel that really strong trigger, like I have to do it. If I don't do it, I'm gonna flip and like go crazy. Like that's what it feels like. And like my scars used to even trigger me. Like I'd be triggered by my own flipping scars. Like that's how bad it was. And like now, like it more just upsets me and it frustrates me. Like I think I said a post on Instagram. I said like I literally cry like before this coronavirus thing. I was literally just crying like every time I had to pick out something to wear, because I was like, do I show my scars? Do I not? Like people are gonna stare at me. Like, and it's just like super uncomfortable. But then the corona thing happens, and then I've been at home, so it hasn't really mattered. I mean, I have to kind of cover up at home though, because like I don't want to upset. I have younger siblings, and I don't want to upset them. And I know like it kind of upsets my mom a lot. Like yeah, and I think like it was hard too, like because my mom didn't know the extent of the self-harm, and she had never like seen it physically, and like the whole time I've ever self-harmed, and at the state I was in, it was like really bad, and I was like, oh crap, damn it. So like that was obviously really upsetting for her and stuff, and it's just been like a really hard time, honestly. But like now I'm like so happy, because I just feel kind of normal for once. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, is this what normal people feel like? Like I feel emotions, but it's not like so intense like it usually is, and I rarely ever have this happen. But I think it's just really because of my medication. It's been really helping. So I don't know, that's really all I had to say. I think what kind of triggered this was because I was thinking about how I'm a month clean, and then the other thing was like I was watching some like random, like I literally just clicked on a random Billie Eilish interview, and I love Billie Eilish. Me and my younger sister Abby are like obsessed with her, and yeah, we like adore her, and I've like done singing covers and everything of her songs. Like I just love her so much. And she actually, I just clicked on this random interview, and it's so weird because she was like actually like really open about like her own mental health, and like she was talking about like literally like self-harming, and like wanting to like die and everything, and like just like all this stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know, it's like when you hear this stuff, it's like you kind of feel like you're not so like crazy in a way, like oh okay, like somebody else is having the same issues. I mean, like I have a lot of people in my own life who have the same problem or similar problems to me, um like my friends and stuff, and so like I love them so much, they're so amazing. Like obviously like I can just like go to them and like say like this is what's happening, blah blah blah, and like they understand, like because experienced they've experienced so much crap they shouldn't have been through, but they're amazing. But yeah, and so it's like whenever like that's why I really like Demi Lovato as well. So Billie Eilish and Demi Lovato are like my, like I just love them so much, and especially Demi Lovato, like I really relate obviously with the whole bipolar thing and everything, and just so many things, it's crazy. So yeah, that's kind of why I was thinking about this, and then also because I'm like a month clean now, so whoop whoop, I'm so excited. I'm gonna have to do something like fun to like celebrate this. But yeah, I will probably go. Sorry if this is very rambly, like I'm just really like can't sleep, and then I um was just like, I don't know, like the interview made me think of stuff, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to make like a little video that turned out to be at this point 26 minutes long. I'm so sorry. You can like fast forward if you're bored. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna go and try to sleep. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing okay. If you need me, my social medias are down below. Like click on them, hit me up with a DM. And yeah, so thank you guys, and I'll see you whenever I film my next video. Bye!